Day. And what we do, we first go and give credit to our sponsors, and then we'll be right back to get into the meat of the program today.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
TDC Financial Services, we're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services, we are strong. TDC Financial Services, this is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Welcome back. As I say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the folks in the many time zones around the world that are logged on to Voices by radio, internet. Welcome to another presentation. We say good morning to, of course, Ms. Rosemary Donald up there in New York, Dr. Leader, also in the U.S., Dr. Evan Sweeney. We have the folks here on the ground, Sister Henry, Culture, Mr. Val Monish, and the fan base has normally logged on to the Voices presentation. It's another Friday downtown Bastille, and while some are celebrating and saying thank God it's Friday, we want to pay brief attention to a couple of somber notes. There are families within the Federation with their family members at home and abroad who are in mourning. We've had the tragic loss of life over a few days, and of course, when this happens, we pause and we send condolences to the various families that are in pain. We want to touch briefly on the family of Sandra Roberts, hoping that they find strength in this moment of bereavement. There's a lot can be said about that, but of course, when it's somebody who's actually known throughout the community, it gives it a different perspective, but we know that there are other families in mourning, so we extend our sympathies and condolences to them. I awoke this morning and took my phone in hand, and I saw a little note from one of our members of the taxi fraternity, and it read, "Gone too soon." So I scrolled down and I saw the picture of a person whom I know very well, member of the transportation industry in taxi and on the road. He's known as Jigger. So I inquired, and I was told that, there was an incident that affected him and he passed. Later on I heard there was a different issue. Nevertheless, we want to extend condolences to the family of Jigger, his friends, and all of those who will be affected by his loss. we pause to commiserate with you in this hour of bereavement. This is from not only myself, my family, but from the good folks here at WIN FM. Okay? And then we had two other incidents I might want to report on while we're in this vein. One relates to, let me see if I can read it quickly. It relates to an unmanned 12-ton truck causes chaos at Beacon Heights. Businessman and safety and security expert Clayton Massive Thomas, we know him, raises concerns, and he writes, in a startling incident at the ultra-exclusive gated community of Beacon Heights, a 12-ton Mack truck without a driver rolled down the hill, smashing into the fence wall of $1 million home and parked vehicles. While the property damage was substantial, fortunately, no one was injured. Overseas-based St. Kitts businessman and security expert Massive Thomas, who owns the trucking company with the multi-truck fleet, commented on the incident. Thomas said, this truck and trailer with these tire conditions are not safe or legal to be on the government road. Think of my people of St. Kitts and Nevis. This is a major traffic violation. A semi-truck with that, a semi-truck that is unsafe. This truck and trailer with these tire conditions are not safe on or legal to be on government road. Think, my people of St. Kitts and Nevis, this is a major traffic violation. A semi-truck that is unsafe on the road is worse than a gun crime. Any unsafe semi-truck can kill us when we least expect it. In numbers, all at one time is where it's written. These trucks may be inspected regularly and also have to daily pre-trip and also have a daily pre-trip before hitting the streets. Fact check me if I'm wrong. He goes on. The incident has sparked concern among Beacon Heights residents and the wider community, highlighting the importance of stringent safety checks and regular maintenance for heavy vehicles. Authorities are investigating the cause of the truck's movement and ensuring measures are in place to prevent such occurrences in the future. And then we had over the Southeast Peninsula on Wednesday another incident where it seemed that another semi-truck with trailer overturned while traveling on the road with building materials. So we pray and we cherish the fact that lives were not lost. We commiserate for those who would have had tragic loss of life in the family. It's another Friday here on St. Kitts and Nevis, another day in my double slice of paradise, and as we know, in paradise things happen. So what we're happy that pardon, that things could have been a lot worse. We appreciate the fact that we're here in the land of the living and we move forward. Now, yesterday, I attended a ceremony at the ECCB where they were given, it was a Thanksgiving service for celebrating 50 years of St. Kitts and Nevis in CARICOM. It was well attended. There was the various press houses there. And what I thought was unique in that particular setting, it was a Thanksgiving, it was a service. And they had 6 different faiths presenting. I've never been in a ceremony where we had presenters from the Baha'i faith, the Coptic Orthodox, the ecclesiastical, Hindus, Islam, and Rastafari. So one by one, these different representatives from the various faiths came forward and offered their prayer. I want to read what was presented firstly by Ras Eli X. He was the person represented on behalf of Rastafari. And he read, "Make a joyful noise unto Haile Selassie I, all ye lands. Serve Selassie or Selassie I with gladness." I'm going to have a problem with my vocals. "Serve Selassie I with gladness, come before him in presence with singing. Know ye that Selassie I, he is Jah. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gate with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For Haile Selassie I is God. Is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth for generations. Selah." I know I'm going to hear from Gregory in this one. But as I said, all the various faiths, 6 of them actually, were presented, and they go back again. Rastafari, they were represented. Islam, and if I'm going to read what was said by the person who read from Islam, he said, "We seek refuge in Allah from Satan, the debased one. We begin in the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the most gracious, the most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you we worship, and upon you we call for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who have blessed, not of those against whom there is anger, nor of those who are misguided. Indeed, all praises are due to Allah. We praise him and seek his help and forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of our own souls and our wrongdoings. He whom Allah guides, no one can misguide. And he whom he leaves astray, no one can guide." So we would have heard from the Rastafari community. We heard from Islam. Very interesting, very interesting. We talk about CARICOM, all the various ethnic groups within this community. And we have something from the Hindu. Salutations from Ganesha. Who has caused trunk? Who has large body of those splendor is similar to a million suns? O Diva, please make my undertakings free of obstacles by extending your blessings in all our worlds. So it was at the Thanksgiving celebration or ceremony for observing 50 years of St. Kitts and Nevis in CARICOM. My understanding is that we joined 1 year after CARICOM was established. And we pause to take a call. Go to caller, you're live on Voices.
Hello?
Go to caller, you're live on Voices.
Yeah, good morning, the king.
Good morning, sir. I haven't heard from you well. It's a bit soft in the volume. I don't know what's happening over there, but can you bring some volume for me? Yes, sir, go ahead. It's better.
Yeah. You ain't here for me. You here for me last week, but anyway. You're so busy making a load of money.
I didn't know you were a comedian.
I think I born so, because I ain't gone to no college yet, go on that.
I know you're funny, but, I mean, you're really on point today. What's up?
Yeah. Well, you give me something out of what you make for last week, now, even though you ain't supposed to be in the line.
Well...
You 10,000 a month. Something a month.
Don't make the bank cover my truck, please. Please. Anyway, go ahead.
No, you see, we are in a democratic country.
Yep, we are.
Oh, I never know that because the amount of wrong things those vagabonds down the street doing, down Church Street doing to this country. And it is so obvious that even who ain't looking back, watching what's going on.
Culture.
What's going on.
Culture.
Yeah,
Work with me.
yeah.
All right? Try to avoid addressing persons as vagabonds. They are elected members of our parliament. You may not agree with them, their policies, and all the different things, but we can be a little more civil than that. Try to avoid describe people as vagabonds. We're bigger than that.
No standing place of a name, unknown, but I ain't calling no name, you know.
I understand that, but it's a general. I understand that.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same for both sides of the political divide. Once you start with that, I'll stop anybody. So we can do better than that. But make your points.
Okay. They got some people say they're in government.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think any government minister has the right to be on any board that the government control? Any organization that the government control, a government minister on the board?
It's massive conflict of interest, but go right ahead.
Okay. You made the answer. Conflict of interest is right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you something now. The first person in St. Kitts that I hear agitate for the government to decriminalize marijuana was the great Rasta Eli X. And
Okay.
that was many, many years ago when Dr. Douglas was the Prime Minister. Eli X always used to call him and ask him when he going to decriminalize it. And you know his response was, that will never happen under his watch because I am a medical doctor.
Okay.
And I've seen what marijuana have done to people.
Mm-hmm.
That will never happen. But now he's on the board. And he's a minister of foreign affairs. So that is what I'm talking about. That's a conflict of interest. And they're doing these things because they do not have nobody to oppose them when they do these wrong things. And they know it's wrong, but they don't care because they're getting what they're going in there to do. They're getting it done. And that is make sure them long pocket is pregnant with Elizabeth Lewis.
Elizabeth and Arthur Lewis.
Arthur Lewis.
Now, over the years, people's position change on things medically, and so they have what do you call a different opinion, a different view of what a position they would have taken before. So that's allowed. That's allowed. Some do it because of convenience. Some do it because the teaching is part of it, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay to shift your position, but you should be able to explain why. Because if your position was as a medical doctor, seeing what the use of ganja marijuana did to people, you should be able to explain why today you endorse it.
Exactly, brother. Exactly. But I can tell you, is one thing that certain people, they hate to see Arthur Lewis, what's her name? Elizabeth Lewis, not in the cash pen or the pocket. So anyway, they see that they're flying like a flag.
Mm-hmm.
They're going on and you go hoist the flag high.
Okay.
Elizabeth Lewis. And show you something too, the great.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it when people lash out at the things that certain people neglect in this country here, and they're not supposed to neglect them? They're
Example? Example?
Like the crime we're going on here.
Okay.
Yeah, the crime, and then, crime has been there from in the Bible days. But when everybody lashing out at how the crime is going on and what is being done to curb the crime, they got a certain individual goes on the government radio the next day, go condone and cover up and find excuse to hide the truth. Why they got to do that? Where is your conscience?
Chiching.
It's people too, eh?
Chiching. You may not speak Chinese, but you understand Chiching.
You're gonna buy Wang Ping,
There you go.
Kang Chung.
I listen to quite a few persons who are easily described as apologists. And I smile because I've seen their positions shift over time depending on what administration is in office. But I don't let those things upset me to the point that I'm going to lose my hair. I mean, like, I shave every morning, but that apart, you have to look at things from a perspective, understanding, realizing sometimes the rationale behind some person's action, and accept it. You can critique it, but understand what it is and leave it at that. Because people will make their choices. People will jump from one ship to a next or to another, depending on the context and what party they're supporting.
But you know what?
We see that
you know why I just come and talk about it? Because what is wrong, it is wrong.
And it's good to highlight and expose it. I don't say ignore it. It's good to highlight and expose it.
That's the main reason why I come on, to expose it. To those who are not aware of it, let them be aware of it. And
remind people that this person's position was this, now it's changed because of convenience.
Oh.
I recall some years ago, Culture, there was a match. This was during the Douglas administration. And there was a match put on by the churches, the CIAC, etc. It was a peace match.
Yes.
And the then Deputy Prime Minister and others, when the crowd assembled in the park, their seats were there vacant. They did not show up to support it. It was a high crime rate during the administration. And the Honorable Sam Kondo, he was then the Deputy Prime Minister, they did not show up to support the march against crime because it probably made them look bad. So it is being going on for some time. It's a political football.
Yes, man.
And sadly, when people's lives are at stake and measures that we have been working to curtail that level of criminality was disbanded because it was not convenient. And then, we're in this situation today again, and we start comparing and blaming, etc. Nobody have all the answers because if you look at Little Anguilla, they've had the challenges, USVI, the Great America, not making excuses. But this is where concerned persons, genuinely concerned people, should form consensus and try to find and, address these issues as best as possible. You shouldn't wait until a prominent person would have lost a life to come up together and raise the whole issue. One has to be consistent with the policies because it affects not only your image abroad, but people's life, which is most fundamental, most important.
One of the reasons why I tell you, I want to see you as quick as possible, anytime you get a chance. I have about, 3-4 calypsos that line up with the rankings that has been done in this country. And I could give you a little hint. I ain't going to quote a verse, but I'm going to give you a little hint. You come back to St. Kitts with your back done bend. When go sit down, boy, a far and say, be together again. Check from that.
Okay.
You know who quote those words?
Informers, educators.
Listen here. They send him to New York as an ambassador. But he turned into Judas, and he think that nobody know. Then he come back to St. Kitts with the back done bend. When go sit down by doggy and say, we together again.
You may need a lawyer for that one, but it's Kaiso. All right?
Okay, let somebody get in.
Much appreciated. Okay, that was the first call, and he had a few topics to address. Well, that's what it's all about. It's called Voices. It's now actually 26 past 11. We start about 2 past, so we do have to pause now to give credit to our sponsors, and we'll be back.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink responsibly.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
If you need insurance, our service is the best. Home motor insurance can give you more for less. Property insurance can save you a lot of stress. At TDC Insurance Company Limited, we care about your investment. Guarantee you peace of mind. The best team in the business. Guarantee you peace of mind. No other company will guarantee you peace of mind. Together we'll succeed and guarantee you peace of mind.
TDC Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Once again, good morning to your viewers, listeners, and those online. We go straight to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hi, good morning, King.
With respect, come on to yourself.
How are you today?
I'm splendid, man. I'm splendid.
All right, splendid as the weather. We have a gorgeous day. Slightly overcast, but we live with it.
We live in paradise. We appreciate that.
Yes. Can I have permission to speak?
Most certainly, sir. Go ahead.
I listened to you read out a few of the faith-based bodies that were represented at the 50th anniversary of CARICOM.
It was a Thanksgiving ceremony.
Sign on to?
That's correct, yes.
Yes, and as you, the first one you read about the Rastafari, and you know, their whatever, their solemn.
They're whatever?
What
do you mean by that?
Huh?
You said they're whatever?
No. They utterances. They as they read out.
Yeah, it was Ras Eli X presenting.
But in something you said Greg.
No. I said because there was 6 different faiths. There was a Baha'i, there was a Hindu, there was a Muslim, there was a Rastafari, ecclesiastic. And I'm saying I'm going to get a call from Greg pertaining.
And Christians also. Because we are Christian, predominantly Christian nation.
Yes.
And it is good that they could have recognized others because interfaith relationship is a way to go. Because it we're down to the respect of other persons coming from different angles and different culture. And you will hear the name like Allah, and you will hear the name like Haile Selassie.
Yep.
And you will hear the different Baha'i names.
Baha'u'llah,
and Jesus and so forth. So it's not imposing one on the other, but it's recognizing that we are all humans and we see things from a different perspective. And so even though I have passed through a few of them, and even though I think outside of the box, so to speak, I kind of respect and appreciate what any faith will have to present to humanity for the better adherence, the better way of life, anything that will elevate our living standard, be it on a spiritual level or otherwise. I'm all for that. So it speaks to where we have come on our journey. Because in the back in the days, persons would have died for believing in what they believe in. And other persons, other organized bodies would have wanted to impose on other people's way of life their own faith-based and so forth. So it is good to see that everyone could have been there in camaraderie, so to speak, and without a pushback.
Yes.
Gone are the days when, no, we don't evangelize. We don't, what we call it. And you know me, the king, I always say, the word crusade come from a long way. And I grew up going to open ears services, and they will use the word crusade, like when Shambach in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
in the Warner Park.
Yes.
It was known as a crusade. But the medieval name crusade, it wasn't a good one. It was a bloody one. You know what I mean? So
That's
having
correct.
good assembly and, you know what I mean, expounding, and Shambach was a man known for, you know, expelling, casting out, doing exorcists, or what they call exorcists, casting out demons and the like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't use the word crusade for such an event, because the crusade has its connotation in a lot.
There has been a miseducation when it comes to Christianity, when it comes to the region and our people's acceptance of certain terminologies.
Yeah. But it's good. I have listened to the Baha'i. I have listened to, from time to time, they would have family come to the radio station, and, you know, they are along. There are some things that can be extrapolated from the Baha'i faith, which can be redound for our journey in life as human beings, you know. I see things on a broader basis, and like I say, I think outside of the box. I don't think spirituality, your spiritual journey, and the vast universe, the cosmos, at endless space.
Yep.
So why would I restrict myself to be thinking inside of a box in terms of what the religion called dogma? You know, having a particular certain belief, and you know you're going to restrict yourself to that particular belief. The king, you ever heard of this term, the Milky Way?
Yep. One of the constellations.
Ah, the Milky Way. That Milky Way. The Milky Way? You know, I grew up with a fairy tale. The cat and the fiddle, the cow jump over the moon. And it always baffled me. It's like, how can I make sense of this? How this run away with this moon? How could I make sense of the cat and the fiddle? The cow jump over the moon.
Excuse me, you have a caller?
And I just asked you a question about the Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
And you said the constellation?
One of the constellations, yes.
Ah, so the moon is a part of the constellation? It would be in that phase, you say?
What's the connection to the nursery rhyme and the Milky Way?
Ah, I got you. So the Milky Way, the cow, we know we got milk from cow. The cow, you go up and call milk the king?
Not necessarily, but I'm trying to get the connection in the context of the constellation and the cow jump over the moon.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, it's for you to figure it out, because that's what they told us. I was taught that. And why teach me something that will baffle me? I remembered it growing up, 3 and 4 years old. Can I try to make sense of it now?
Yeah, you're on TM. You got callers standing by, so let's hear it.
Right. So a lot of these fairy tales and nursery rhymes remain with us. What can we extrapolate from these nursery rhymes? Now that you have the Milky Way in the constellation, and the moon it travels the constellations and so forth, the different planetary bodies and so forth. I'm trying to make sense of it. Anyway, thanks for listening. Just put it out there for that.
Thank you for your contribution. The point I was trying to make is that with that gathering, and we all stood when the various faith leaders were presenting, and the whole thing was printed, so we read along with them. The Hindu, the Muslim, the Rastafari, the Baha'i, the ecclesiastic, and all we're giving praise and thanks to the Creator. The Messiah would have been different. Whether it was Baha'u'llah, whether it be Christ, whether it be I forget the Islam. Sorry about that. I'm having some problem in articulating. Right? And we stood, we were reverent, and we understood because we live in okay, let me take a call and say my voice. Call the 11 voices. I'm having some problem in articulating. Right? And we yes, caller, please step away from your radio and listen on the phone and let's have this conversation.
Yes, sorry, yes, I was just lowering the volume.
Much appreciated.
Yes. First of all, I would like to say greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of his elect chosen sinners, who saves them from the sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity.
Amen.
There is no salvation in any other name other than in Jesus Christ. Now, first of all, I would like to say, as I mentioned this morning on Ireland Tea, and I would like to repeat it again here, one of the reasons why we have a problem with crime is because family members are defending one another when they do the crime and when they do the wrong. And you'll be surprised that even people who call themselves Christians and who have a high name in society, when the family member do wrong, and it is plain that the family member has done wrong, even a crime, that they come together and they defend that family member, all because that member, that person is the family. And so to hell with everything else for them. They're going to defend their family no matter what. And because of that, that is one of the many reasons why we have a problem with crime and the destruction of society. And I would just like to tell people, to defend wrong is sinful, it is evil, and it is wicked. Even if it is your family member you are defending. To defend wrong goes against the Bible. It is a sinful, evil, wicked thing to defend wrong, even if that person is your family who has done the wrong. And Christians who do that ought to be ashamed of themselves, very ashamed of themselves. Because when you defend wrong, even if you are defending your family, you are going against God and you are going against the Bible and you are sinning against God according to the Bible. That is number one. Number two, Socrates. Only Jesus Christ is the true Savior of sinners from their sins. Only in Jesus Christ we find true salvation. As he said, he is the way, the truth, and the life. And no man can come unto the Father except through him. And there is also another passage in Scripture that says, there is no other name whereby men shall be saved other than in the name of Jesus Christ. And not only that, the one of the 10 Commandments says, have no other God but me. And if anybody come and preach any other God, they ought to be executed.
So this is acknowledging that there are other gods, right?
Hello?
This is acknowledging that there were other gods.
Yeah, and the Bible said there are false gods and there are demons, actually. That's what the Bible said. The Bible said these other gods are false gods because in Isaiah, God says, there's no other God beside me. And I alone am the only true God. And there is none other beside me.
Well, it was interesting yesterday to see all the various faiths come out and praise the Creator and whomever is the Messiah. Because we in celebrating CARICOM's 50th anniversary, we have persons of different faith, different religion, different ethnic background that has to be recognized. That took place yesterday. But when I made the presentation this morning, I said, I know I would be hearing from you. I expected that.
Yeah, in the nation of Israel, when the Israelites went and started to worship other gods, than the God of the Bible. God punished Israel and said that they are committing adultery, spiritually speaking, by worshiping other gods, because only the God of Jacob, only the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the true God, and there is no other God beside him. And in the New Covenant Church, we are taught by the disciples and by Paul and so on that we are not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. And who are the unbelievers? People who are not Christians. And that would include everybody who are not Christian, be they Baha'i, Rastafari, Muslims,
Hindu.
You name them all.
Mm-hmm.
You name them all. From the Bible point of view, if you are not a true Christian who is saved by the blood of Christ, you are an unbeliever, and we are commanded in the scriptures not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. We are not to marry with them, we are not to partnership with them. We are not to be in any yoked up situation with non-Christians, unbelievers. And it doesn't matter what religion they belong to. If they are not of the true biblical Christian religion, according to the Bible, we are not to be yoked up with them. So in both Old Testament and New Testament, we are commanded and instructed that Jesus Christ is the only way, and we are not to yoked up with any other religion.
Okay.
So when, yeah?
I was saying, okay, you're wrapping up?
I'm wrapping up. So when you see that ecumenical coming together of all religions, which is nothing new, that goes on since in the Bible time, the Bible commands Christians, true biblical Christians, not to be a part of that, because they are serving false gods, and really it is demons behind those false gods that they are serving, because Jesus Christ is the only way, the truth, and the life, and none other but Jesus Christ, who is the second person of the Trinity, God the Son. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. It's actually 11:44. We're going to pause once again because we need to give credit to sponsors like at least every 50 minutes. We'll do this now, and we'll come back and we'll take the next topic. Thank you for that.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop
www.shoptdcgroup.com.
when you need
Once again, good morning and welcome back to today's presentation of Voices. Any call on the line at the moment? No? Okay. Let's see. If anyone can call and let me know how many names are inscribed on the plaque at the base of the cenotaph, I'll be very grateful. I'm not sure, but I believe it numbers less than 50 names down there on the cenotaph. We're on the second Sunday in each November. All uniform bodies assemble there in a Thanksgiving ceremony for those who contributed and gave their lives, I would say, in the fight of democracy on a global stage, World War I. And so every Sunday, every first Sunday in November every year, we still observe that Thanksgiving ceremony. In about 6 days' time, we will be on the 1st of August. We know on the 1st of August 1970, we lost over 200 souls in the sinking of the Christina. And though eventually a monument has been erected at the back of the Treasury, the now museum, there are concerns that there's nothing being done here on St. Kitts to commemorate or observe that tragedy where almost 300 Kittitians and divisions would have lost their life in that tragic marine accident. There are persons who are concerned that not enough, if any, regards is given to that tragedy that affected the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Some are still traumatized. Many have gone to the great beyond without getting the proper, the necessary treatment, psychologically or otherwise. I spoke to a gentleman on Nevis last week. I think it was Thursday. I had occasion to speak to a gentleman, and he's a taxi operator. He's Mr. Tyson. And he said to me that he was on the Christina. He's a survivor. He was a young boy, lost his family. He was the only surviving member of his family. And in the ensuing years, in order to survive, he used to come down from Nevis to St. Kitts to sell lime and other fruits in order to create a living or livelihood for himself. He never got any form of compensation or support from any administration, the government at the time or after. He has survived. He's a survivor. But I asked him, had he ever been interviewed? He said several times. And I promised him I would sit with him and interview him. But there was a concern expressed by a contributor who sent me this last week. I'm going to read it again if I may. And it's good day. Annually, a service is organized at the cenotaph to pay tribute to Kittitians and divisions who died having gone to war. Our government sanctions the event with participation by members of the cabinet, the police, defense force, fire and rescue services. However, over 200 Kittitians and divisions perished due to the sinking of the Christina, our biggest disaster yet. Our governments, especially on St. Kitts, show no empathy by paying public tribute. A government-sanctioned and or funded memorial was established on St. Kitts behind the National Museum on the Bay Road a few years ago, but nothing is held there. Why not? What message is being sent to survivors and relatives, families of those who died? However, each year, government commits and mobilizes resources to have an event at the cenotaph. August Monday will soon be here. We're on the 26th so we have about 5 more days in July, then we come to the 1st of August. It says, August Monday will soon be here. Should our government ensure that this year and going forward, a ceremony is held to honor our victims of this huge local disaster. I read that when I was here last, and the person is right in making sure that this is actually aired and giving some attention. So if anyone want to call and weigh in on this, I know of 2 songs, well now 3, that has been rendered on the topic. There may be more, but I know of 3 songs. One was done by me. The first was done by King Pharaoh back in the 70s, and I think one was done last year by Kamal during the last Calypso competition last year. That apart, I don't see anything. In the song that I did, I mentioned that we know all about the Titanic. We know all about that. But here at home, we leave it up to Captain Skeet to lay some wreaths annually. He's famous for that, for laying wreaths at the area that has been marked as the point where the ship went down. So that's a ceremony that is done by a person who volunteers individually. I'm not sure if he gets sponsors from any entity or the government, but that's part of what happens every year by Captain Skeet. And he's got to be commended for that. But in terms of what's happening here on St. Kitts and what's not happening, I was actually encouraged by the fact that the monument was built there, and the names of the person who perished in the disaster would be inscribed on that plaque. But when you compare the 2 different tragedies, those who fought in World War, it was on a global scale, and the recognition is due. We have Poppy Day. We've had Poppy Day back in the day, where you get your poppy, and it's all in commemoration of those who fought in the war theaters. So we observe it here too. We understand that there are persons, there may be 1 or 2 still alive. I know of a gentleman who actually is from Montserrat. He's now in the UK, but he actually was RAF pilot who fought in I think it was World War II, really. And he understands on that day they dress in their uniform and they go there. So we observe and respect them and thank them for their contribution. But in terms of what happened when that maritime disaster took place and almost 300 souls were lost, right? Some fell on their knees praying, some went and they joined search parties, others spoke of the many lives they tried to save and who went down to watery grave, etc. And that needs to be better commemorated. So if anybody want to call on that particular matter, we have a few days before we come to August 1st. We still go to Nevis. I think they were going over for a horse race. That's why we had horse races on Nevis during the time as part of the Emancipation Day celebration. Let's take a call. But the caller, you live on Voices.
Yeah, the king, I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as I can recall, I think we have, we have 3 monuments in St. Kitts where a number of persons died tragically. That's the War Memorial is one.
Mm-hmm.
And the little memorial, behind the treasury where the short pier was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the place where passengers used to board the boat to go to Nevis. And
on the long pier or the short pier? Which one? The long pier?
Short pier.
All right.
The long pier was more for cargo.
Okay.
Okay, so we have War Memorial, and the one there by the short pier. And then we have the tall memorial up in the cemetery.
Yep.
Well, you're closer to this place than I, but since I born, I've been hearing about it. When they had the jam session up on Brimstone Hill, and some people too, that's a tragedy.
Yes. But not on the scale of those who lost their lives on the Christina. Not on the scale.
Right. Is there any monument on Brimstone Hill to say what took place up there that day?
No.
Okay.
Not has been erected at all.
Okay, that one has been ignored. Well, the tall one in the cemetery, I was told that, there was a great flood of bass there in the 1930-something. And there is where they buried all those who drowned in that flood of bass there.
Mass grave?
Yes.
Okay.
And do you know the Sunday after the Saturday night when Christina sing, when they were digging the mass grave hole over in the cemetery, I went over there and I watched them. I see them dig out that grave. And those people who was in 1840, they should be commended for how fast they build those coffins.
Mm-hmm.
Because they never had power in those days.
You're talking about with the Christian disaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I see them out the coffin come out of the prison,
mm-hmm.
I say, boy, them guys in there fast. They could walk fast. And they never even had time to cover them now. They just stain them and call it that.
Okay.
And when I see the latter coffins in the grave, I said, well, okay, they're going to build one like this here next to it. But nothing was done. It covered over, and they fenced it with some...
It was cordoned off, yeah. It was cordoned off.
And they painted them white.
Mm-hmm.
But the duplicate owners gone with them.
The duplicate owners?
Yes.
What is this now?
The government is who put those pickets there.
Okay.
But the other owners take them out for whatever reason, I don't know. And that was a disgrace and disrespect to those people who were buried right there.
So there again, that area should be marked, highlighted, with the information shared.
Mm-hmm.
Mass grave or not, you still understand that there were people who lost their lives from both St. Kitts and Nevis. Some has never been recovered. Never been recovered.
That's right.
Some were in such a state of, I would say, such a bad state, you cannot identify them.
Mm-hmm.
So you put them in, you wrap them, put them, but from the ship's log, you would have an idea of the names of the persons, those recovered, those missing, and try to, I know a young man, his name was Bertram, he was about 9 years old, and his parents sent him to Nevis. Of course, he's never been seen again. He was my neighbor in Sandy Point back then. Never seen again. So the neighbor, his mother, his sisters, I saw them grieving, mourning, crying, carrying on, because Bertram lost his life. And so the person who sent me this article is right. There has to be some undertaking, some thing put in place, especially here in St. Kitts, because on Nevis to some extent they observe it, but that having built a monument, there has to be a ceremony honoring our very own, the same as we apply to those who would have lost their lives at the Senate off. We are now at the point where we must pause for the WINNMedia Family.
Let me go now. Let me go now. You know what happened?
You got to pause now. It's time for the news. It's time for the news. It's time for the news. It's actually midday, so we'll continue afterwards. So thank you for your contribution as we pause for the WINNMedia Family's midday newscast.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king. Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider. Only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories:
CTU's EC51 General Conference of Ministers meeting and ICT Week to be hosted in St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis's permanent mission to the United Nations mark 50 years of CARICOM membership. Guyana government proposes 7% and 6% salary increase for teachers. St. Lucia's United Workers' Party seeks judicial review of local citizenship by investment program. Internationally, Kamala Harris tells Benjamin Netanyahu it's time to end war in Gaza.
Now the details.
The Caribbean Telecommunications Union, CTU, in collaboration with the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, ICT, of St. Kitts and Nevis, has announced the hosting of the CTU ICT Week 2024. The event will occur in St. Kitts and Nevis from September 30th through October 5th, 2024. The 2024 conference is themed Bridging Technologies for a Sustainable and Inclusive Future, and aims to be a significant event for the region's technological advancement. The conference will feature a lineup of keynote speakers and panelists, including the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada and Chair of CARICOM, the Honorable Conress Maynard, Minister of ICT for St. Kitts and Nevis, Doreen Bogdan-Martin, Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, Rodney Taylor, Secretary General of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, CTU. Minister Maynard emphasized the importance of ICT in national development, saying that the government has been focused on using ICT to drive economic growth, improve public services, and enhance its citizens' overall quality of life. He urges people to save the date and participate in the dialogue aimed at fostering a sustainable and inclusive future through technology. Secretary General Rodney Taylor highlighted the event's significance, calling it a milestone in the region's collective journey towards advancing ICT development and fostering a collaborative environment for technological progress in the Caribbean. The conference's goals include bringing together policymakers, government officials, industry leaders, technology experts, and other stakeholders across the Caribbean and beyond to explore digital transformation. The conference will also include platforms for knowledge sharing in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, and will feature a 2-day hackathon in which the Federation's youth will develop software. There will be networking opportunities and exhibits and demonstrations. Specific CTU ICT Week 2024 events such as the CTU's statutory meeting and the Regulators Forum are closed. However, other events are open to all stakeholders interested in the future of telecommunications and technology in the Caribbean. The event will provide a forum to embrace cutting-edge technology and strategies to enhance connectivity, drive economic resilience, and foster regional social inclusion. Registration details and additional information about the event are on the CTU's website. Minister Maynard encouraged participation, asking interested individuals to mark their calendars and plan to join in on unlocking the potential of ICT and digital inclusivity in the Caribbean. For more information about the event, visit www.technology.gov.kn. On Monday, July 22nd, 2024, the permanent mission of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United Nations observed a significant milestone celebrating 50 years of the Federation's membership in the Caribbean community, CARICOM. The event, Wear Your CARICOM Colors Day, was held before the official anniversary on July 26, 2024. The commemoration was aligned with the mission's role as chair of the CARICOM Caucus of Ambassadors in New York from July to August. During this period, the celebration was incorporated in the mission's first regular meeting of the caucus. Permanent Representative Her Excellency Dr. Mutris Williams remarked, quote, "The Permanent Mission of St. Kitts and Nevis is honored to chair the CARICOM caucus at this time as we acknowledge our Federation's 50th anniversary of CARICOM membership. Our team's attire in CARICOM colors reflects the importance of this milestone," end quote. The presence of a former CARICOM youth ambassador on the team was also noted as a relevant aspect of the mission's current composition. The CARICOM standard was displayed during the event. It featured a blue background to represent the sky and the Caribbean Sea, a yellow circle symbolizing the sun, and a green ring indicating regional vegetation. The logo, with interlocking seas, signifies unity and the transition from colonial influences. A pivotal moment in the meeting was the visit by His Excellency Vasily Nebenzia, the current president of the United Nations Security Council and permanent representative to Russia. His interaction with the CARICOM caucus was highlighted as a noteworthy aspect of the session. Under the chairmanship of St. Kitts and Nevis, the CARICOM caucus has focused on representing Caribbean interests in various United Nations forums. The mission has worked to coordinate caucus activities and address critical issues, including the vulnerabilities of small island developing states, climate action, the situation in Haiti, and the need for development assistance and concessional financing. The event and engagement reflect the Federation's ongoing role in CARICOM and its efforts to represent Caribbean perspectives on a global stage.
In regional news,
Guyana government proposes 7% and 6% salary increase for teachers. Guyana News Source reports.
There are new reports coming in that the government of Guyana has made an initial proposal of a 7% salary increase for teachers for this year, with a further 6% increase for next year and another 6% increase for 2026. Those reports coming from multiple sources. The counter-proposal by the government follows a submitted proposal of the Guyana Teachers Union, which is seeking a 39.5% salary increase for this year, with an additional 30% increase for each of the years 2025 and 2026. There has been no agreement on any of the two proposals, but the two sides met again in their ongoing efforts to hammer out a multi-year agreement. Already some non-salary issues have been settled, but the salary increases appear to be the stumbling block. Following a 5-hour meeting between the Education Ministry and the Guyana Teachers Union, the president of the union, Mark Light, said while there is some progress being made in some areas, the two sides have agreed not to divulge details of the meeting at this time.
Both sides committed to not releasing details on the discussion. But I'd say that for the most part, our discussion went very well, and you can see that the members are hopeful, optimistic that in the short term we will have a signed agreement to share with the membership as well as the public.
Light also declined to offer any comment on the proposal by the government, indicating that during the course of negotiations, there were a number of financial and non-financial matters that were not settled.
The proposal put forward by the ministry, like I said, several areas they have to go back and get, because the union, when they propose certain things, the union might have said, well, we don't quite agree with this, and those are being reviewed.
A performance-based incentive of 2% per annum, an annual health risk allowance of $25,000, and monthly internet and mobile data allowance of $10,000 to be paid to all teachers are among the other financial measures proposed by the GTU. When the union and the Education Ministry met earlier this month for their first round of negotiations following the end of that 75-day-long strike, it was reported that they had agreed on a number of non-financial measures. The next meeting between the government and the Guyana Teachers Union is set to take place on the 5th of August.
St. Lucia's United Workers' Party seeks judicial review of local citizenship by investment program. DBS St. Lucia has that story.
During a press conference on Wednesday, opposition leader Alan Shastney revealed that the United Workers' Party is preparing to file a judicial review claim in the High Court to get answers about the country's Citizenship by Investment Program, CIP. There are allegations of underselling passports hanging over the CIP, and Shastney believes that the government has not been transparent about the activities within the program.
This will be very similar to the case that's taking place in St. Kitts, where it's a judicial review case, and we're actually preparing the documents for a filing to do exactly that. We have given this government, we think, sufficient time to have rectified the situation. So one, in signing the MOA, the Memorandum of Agreement with the OACS countries, they ought to have amended the regulations at that point. In fact, they have not done that.
The opposition leader points out that the CIP's latest pathway to citizenship, the infrastructure option, has been shrouded in secrecy. He anticipates that a judicial review, if granted by the High Court, will reveal what he believes is being concealed.
How many files has the government given permission to Galaxy to sell under the infrastructure program? Under our administration, it was 700. It is reported by MSR that in the interview that the CEO had, he claimed, he made the statement that Galaxy was given 7,000 files to sell for the infrastructure program. He was also said that Galaxy was given 7,000 files to sell for the infrastructure program. The Minister of CIP came out in a typical lie and propaganda to mamagai everybody, to tell you what, oh, we've only approved 1,300. So what?
Shastney expects that the judicial review claim filed by MSR Media in the St. Kitts and Nevis High Court will provide further insight into St. Lucia's CIP.
The St. Kitts government attempted to have the case thrown out. Last week, that decision was overruled, and the courts have allowed the case to continue. And so my understanding is that some of the information that MSR has as to the unlawful acts of government will now be made public very soon.
That judicial review case is scheduled to begin in October. For the DBS News World, I am Zaid Romulus.
We now bring you these international reports.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has had what she describes as a frank and constructive meeting with the visiting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In it, the Democratic presidential hopeful expressed her serious concern about Palestinian civilian casualties in Israel's war with Hamas. She also reiterated her unwavering commitment to the U.S. allies' security, but urged Mr. Netanyahu to agree to a ceasefire deal. Let's hear some of what Kamala Harris had to say after the meeting.
I have met with the families of these American hostages multiple times now, and I've told them each time they are not alone, and I stand with them. And President Biden and I are working every day to bring them home. I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, with over 2 million people facing high levels of food insecurity, and 500,000 people facing catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. It is time for this war to end, and end in a way where Israel is secure, all the hostages are released, the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can exercise their right to freedom dignity, and self-determination. There has been hopeful movement in the talks to secure an agreement on this deal. And as I just told Prime Minister Netanyahu, it is time to get this deal done.
Our North America correspondent David Wills gave us the latest from Washington.
Benjamin Netanyahu met with both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris today, and the White House, in a readout of his meeting with Joe Biden, said that Mr. Biden called for a ceasefire in Gaza and for the release of the remaining hostages as soon as possible, as it put it. And Kamala Harris, as we just heard, went further than that, registering her concern about the growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza and saying that the time had come to do a deal. And she also said to Mr. Netanyahu that she would not be silent about the suffering of the Palestinian people. Now, some here are taking that to mean that she may adopt a different stance, perhaps a more aggressive stance towards Israel than Joe Biden has done, should she be elected, of course, in the presidential election in November. Kamala Harris has been critical of the Israeli administration, most recently back in March. And a lot of people have been looking to see what she makes of Benjamin Netanyahu's visit these last few days as some sort of indication of how she would engage with the Israelis going forward.
Hassan Barari, who's a professor of international affairs at Qatar University, joining us from Amman. Welcome back to Al Jazeera. So there's been some furious reaction out of Israel to Harris's comments, accusing her of showing gaps between the positions of the U.S. and Israel when it comes to the war on Gaza. But is there any reason to believe that policy towards Israel under a Harris presidency will change?
Well, thank you, Darren. I think this remains to be seen. We know that this rhetoric is very important, and this time it's no beating around the bush. Harris made it perfectly clear that Netanyahu's speech at the Congress would fool no one. It's the responsibility of Israel to reach a ceasefire, and secondly, which is more important even, is that there's a day after, which is self-determination for the Palestinian two-state solution. So she is not really taken aback by the speech of Netanyahu, which was full of lies and deception. And she as if she understands the needs of Israel for security and what Israel wants, which is expansion and denying the Palestinian the right to self-determination. So she is insinuating that under her leadership in her administration, if she got elected, she would follow a different approach. And I think this is very important. It carries a lot of courage on the part of Harris.
Look, and looking ahead, Netanyahu, we expect him to be meeting with Donald Trump. What's he banking on here? Is he banking on Trump's return to power to bolster his own political fortunes?
Yes, you're right. I think one of his objectives is to mend fences with Trump after the relationship was troubled a little bit because of Netanyahu's statements supporting Biden at one point. I think he understands that Trump doesn't care about the Palestinians, and all he cares about is to have a transactional foreign policy where he can continue with the Abraham Accord. So Netanyahu probably think that all of his lies and deception would resonate well with Trump. So he's trying to bank on that. He's trying to reignite the bonds or the lost bonds between both of them in anticipation of Trump's winning elections in November.
But here's the thing. I mean, the big question, of course, is whether Netanyahu himself will still be in power later this year if Trump wins the election, with all the domestic pressures on him. Of course, there's the looming ICC arrest warrant. And we were just showing the demonstrations also in the U.S. against him. So, I mean, he's a lot of people would describe him as being internationally isolated.
He is isolated internationally and even internally. Given the mounting pressure from the grassroots, from demonstrations in Tel Aviv and different cities in the occupied territories. I mean, in Israel and in Palestine in 1948. We've seen this pressure, and even his opponents, the opposition leader Yair Lapid, was saying that Netanyahu was better off staying at Israel than taking this trip to the States, which he achieved nothing. This is the first time that we see the Israeli leaders giving a speech at the Congress in a divided Congress with a huge boycott. And this is a statement that criticizing Israel and having differences with Israel is no longer a taboo in the United States. So this adds to his own isolation, even not internationally, I think more important in America. Now, a few people would come in public and support Israel because the criminal war is no longer justified, and probably it's outlived its usefulness for many of the American observers.
From above, it's clear to see that Tyndall Air Base, set in remote shrubland of northern Australia, was designed as a small airfield with fast jets in mind. Now it's buzzing with new construction. The United States has quietly begun overhauling it, constructing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of facilities there to support B-52 bombers, F-22 stealth fighters, and refueling and transport aircraft. The expansion aims to help U.S. ally Australia project power into the South China Sea if any crisis erupts with Beijing. The Australian government also has its own program of new projects at Tyndall, spending $980 million on hangars, a new airport terminal, and other facilities which are near completion. Fiona Pierce is a Royal Australian Air Force wing commander.
What we're moving towards is a multi-purpose base, so we're going to be big enough to take any aircraft in the world and to park and fly every different variant of aircraft. So there's runway increases, fuel increases, and a whole bunch of other facilities that are being worked on as well.
Australia is the top overseas location for U.S. Air Force and Navy construction spending under 2024 and 2025 U.S. congressional defense authorizations, totaling over $330 million. A few hundred miles north, a base in Darwin is also being upgraded with U.S. help. Tender documents show intelligence briefing rooms, runway upgrades, warehouses, and maintenance hangars are in the works. U.S. Marine Corps have routinely trained in Darwin since a 2011 agreement between Canberra and Washington. Commanding officer of the U.S. Marine Rotational Force, Colonel Brian Mulvihill, says that's now evolved into a regional deterrence role of about 2,000 Marines each year, and future upgrades to RAAF Darwin aim to support specific needs of the Marines.
The United States paid to have larger fuel storage put in place at RAAF Darwin in support of our aviation assets, as well as that's done, and then the next project is to expand the parking apron for the MV-22 Ospreys to give them more space in and around the busy airport that is Darwin and RAAF Darwin.
While remote locations pose challenges to sourcing materials and a workforce, Indigenous Australian residents also have complaints about the new developments. 75-year-old Tibby Quall is among several traditional owners who say growing demand for defense-related housing in Darwin has led to land clearing of forests they want protected, while rising prices have pushed Indigenous families out of the city. While U.S. and Australian officials say traditional owners can visit sacred sites on the base, Quall says his family has no real voice on how the land is used.
Chinese authorities say they've evacuated almost 300,000 people as Typhoon Gaimi makes its way across the east of the country. The storm made landfall on mainland on Thursday after severely affecting Taiwan and the Philippines. Public transport, offices, schools and markets have been shut in some cities in Chinese Fujian province. Let's speak to our China correspondent, Stephen McDonnell, who's in Beijing. Stephen, like I just said, we've covered the impact Typhoon Gaimi has had in Taiwan and in the Philippines. What's the situation like in Beijing right now?
Well, as you said, it's already caused a major path of destruction on the way to the Chinese mainland when it hit Taiwan, hit the Philippines. To give you an idea of the power of this storm, major commercial ships have been sunk, including an oil tanker off the coast of Manila. They're still searching for missing crew. Some of those, sadly, are presumed dead. Now, the good news is that after the storm hit mainland China, it's been downgraded. However, hundreds of thousands of people have been moved to safer areas. Transport services are still down in southeastern China, including trains, including planes. And the concerns are that this storm, albeit a downgraded one, is going to still push heavy rain into the middle of China and the north. The reason people are worried about this is that typhoon just like this last year caused flooding in the north of the country, and as far away as the northeast of China, a famous rice crop was completely destroyed following the rains that caused flooding after a typhoon. And so while it may have been downgraded, while the winds may have eased off a bit, still a lot of people are worried that this is not over.
And I mean, if you compare it to the typhoon we saw last year, which, triggered historic flooding as far as north of Beijing and caused nationwide losses of around nearly $30 billion, what are the fears for this one? What impact will it have on the markets?
Well, sadly, potentially very similar. Now, of course, weather can change very quickly in these types of circumstances, so people are preparing for the worst but hoping that that won't come about. Scientists here, of course, are blaming all of this on climate change, and they're saying that unless something's done about it, you're going to see catastrophic weather events like this. I mean, sure, China's always had flooding and always had droughts, but it's the frequency and the severity of these events which has scientists worried. The summer is getting longer and longer, heat waves are starting earlier, finishing later, heavier rains, much more destruction to crops and to people's livelihoods. And that's why the government here, like in many other parts of the world, says it's taking climate change very seriously. The problem, of course, is that the remedies are not coming quickly enough.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines:
CTU's EC51 General Conference of Ministers meeting and ICT Week to be hosted in St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis's permanent mission to the United Nations mark 50 years of CARICOM membership. Guyana government proposes 7% and 6% salary increase for teachers. St. Lucia's United Workers' Party seeks judicial review of local citizenship by investment program. Internationally, Kamala Harris tells Benjamin Netanyahu it's time to end war in Gaza.
Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Caribbean.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Good afternoon to our viewers and listeners. Welcome to the second half of today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates. I'll be presenting for you the second half, as we did this morning. But before we get into that, we'll pause first and give credit to sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
Attention, savvy shoppers! It's that time of year again to upgrade your home and feed your family with Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. For over 25 years, we've been making dreams come true by offering cashback coupons for free groceries on all hire purchases. That's right, we've given away over $1 million worth of groceries to our loyal customers. And this year, it's your time to cash in on the savings. Whether you're in the market for a new sofa, a sleek kitchen upgrade, or a cozy bedroom set, Hortford's and Ashley Furniture Home Store have everything you need to turn your house into a home. And when you make a higher purchase with us, you'll receive cashback coupons redeemable for free groceries. So why wait? Visit Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Upgrade your home, feed your family, and save big with cashback coupons for free groceries. Only at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store.
Hey, once again, welcome back. As I say, good afternoon to Bag of Sugar. Hope you're having a great day. Now, I would ask that we hold the phone lines. There's an article I would like to read. It's a bit long, but I'll try to get through it. It's written by the Honorable G.A. Dwight Estefan. It was posted on July 17th, 2024. And the headlines: maybe America deserves Trump, but the world doesn't. And he continues, no decent human being would rejoice in what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 13, 2024. But equally, no half-sensible, half-honest human being can deny that Donald Trump has been one of the major vessels of violence, bigotry, and lawlessness in recent American history. And the tragedy of the modern American politics and life is not so much that Trump is bad. No. The tragedy is that he has struck a chord with religious right fanatics, Zionist fanatics, white supremacists, and a hefty wedge of the poorest people in America who are collateral damage and victims of the very thing that Trump exposes. And black and brown people who, from Trump's record, ought to know how he feels about them. But in fairness to black and brown people, it is not just how he feels about them, it is how he feels about all people. He sees them as his tools. And look at all those unprincipled invertebrates who populate the U.S. Congress. I like that. Let me read the part again. And look at all those unprincipled invertebrates who populate the U.S. Congress. He has them all in his pockets, from the demented Mitch McConnell to the decorticated Margaret Taylor Greene. Speaking of dementia and decortication, Trump is more forgetful than Joe Biden and is extremely disordered personality, and he is an extremely disordered personality dangerous to America. Trump is so bad that the worst former U.S. president in his grave would make a better president than Trump. Nevertheless, Congressional Republicans realize that Trump has struck a chord with the party base, and they, almost to a man or woman, they have chosen political survival over principle. Beyond the Congress, look at the judges in the U.S. system, right up to some in the Supreme Court. What a disgrace. With respect, you guys are no example to follow. Much as we love you and honor the Trump presidency, although you may have been fooled to the contrary, America lost a lot of respect in the world. Trump has contaminated every facet of American governance. And in the picture of today, America is not much different of that of Hitler's Germany 90 years ago. Trump embodies, and he has revealed, and he exploits the ugly underbelly of America. He has European decision makers worried sick because of his simply foolish. Okay, let me read it again. Because he has European decision makers worried sick because of he simply and foolishly does not understand the value of NATO to America's strategic interests. This is a man who says he wants a strong America, but is actually the most deadly threat to America. He beats his chest belligerently and plays tough unless it relates to Putin, Netanyahu, Kim Jong-un, and the other despots. He has condemned his own military and intelligence leaders and organizations while he sits like a handcuffed hostage to the despots. It is more than odd and troubling for the leader of the so-called free world to grovel in hero worship before some of the world's most notorious dictators. He has disgraced the U.S. and the office of the president perhaps more than all of his predecessors. Sorry, I have an articulation problem. Combined. No person has gained greater personal wealth from being president than he has. His economic policies, such as they are a socialist plan for the rich, and he doesn't believe in global warming and climate change. He doesn't grasp the right concept that if America, entrepreneurship, and the partnership were prudently and strategically inserted into Latin America and the Caribbean or elsewhere, there would be an expanded footprint of the U.S. economy, Latin America, and the Caribbean in other economies, and societies would be more stable. There would be less pressure and expense with illegal immigration, etc., and we all would be better off. Instead, he preaches American isolation and exceptionalism, a concept which can only weaken America and diminish its goodwill in the Americas and throughout the world. Trump does not fit into the world of 2024, yet he goes merrily along with his Piper story to you Americans. A people who see and embrace a villain as a victim deserves the consequences of their folly. A flock which chooses a wolf to be their shepherd is a flock which has signed its own death warrant. Remember Hitler in the 1930s and World War II. An American acquaintance of mine a Trump supporter told me that America got into a new war under Trump, and that Trump is the only person who can prevent World War III from happening. I tried to explain to him that under Trump, America got into perhaps its most consequential civil war in recent times. That is the Civil War which he began and which he keeps stoking. You all go ahead. Let me use the accent. You all go ahead and elect him president, but plan to leave a death note at your grandchildren, explaining to them what you did and why you did it. And it ends again. Maybe America deserves Trump, but we in the rest of the world surely does not. I think that was excellent, an excellent overview of what is happening in the U.S. and that mentality. And there are people out here, of course, it's it's a democracy. But I've listened to people out here in St. Kitts Nevis arguing very strongly for Trump. And it defies common sense, but of course, to each his own. So I want to thank you very much for that. I was a bit late in seeing it. I saw it today. I thought to share it with my viewers and listeners. The lines are now open. If anybody want to call in and weigh in on this or any other topic, we're happy to entertain you. Now, earlier today we had Gregory on, and he was making reference to a particular incident where a person lost their life. And he was saying that sometimes these things happen because families encourage persons who they know would have broken the law. I'll get back to that. Let me take this call. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Good afternoon.
Sister Henry, always a pleasure. Always lovely hearing from you. How are you doing?
Oh, you're giving God thanks, man.
That's how we do it. Yes. Talk to me.
Good afternoon to all the listeners at home and abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And let me start by congratulating CARICOM. The more we learn about CARICOM, the more we would appreciate them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It has helped to modernize our economies. You know, the way we trade, you have the free trade, you have so many other things. Modernize our government.
Structures.
It has improved our technical people. I mean, I can testify.
Mm-hmm.
It has brought together our people in some ways. Now, the meeting you went to yesterday, the celebration.
Yes.
It was interesting that you read out all of the different religions, eh?
That's the point, yeah.
Now, I believe in tolerance, but I can tell you, most of them, maybe except the Baha'i, are very intolerant of Christians, you know.
Muslims?
In fact, wait, give me a chance, man. Once they are in the minority, they're very cooperative. In the element and in the area, they do not tolerate Christianity. They can't pretend. What they're doing to Africa. This thing about the crusade, I don't know how much of it we know. My good friend, good afternoon, Africa. Good afternoon, Brett. Now, the crusade, but you should know the history.
The campaigns.
The Muslims, you give me a chance, the Muslims were taking over Europe, right? And you either convert or they wipe you out. You had to convert. And so the crusade is a Catholic story, eh? The aim was to try and secure Jerusalem, which was considered the center. Of course, it was brutality, meeting brutality. Because if they did not intervene, you know, the Muslim would have wiped out Christianity. I mean, I've been to India, but you don't see in India, the Hindus and the Muslims fight each other. and the poor Christian gets squeezed in between. Myself, I've gotten it. Well, you heard me the other day about what the place that name again, where they claim that a Christian man take a leaf or burn a leaf, and they burn down the man's house and kill some of the people. Look for Nigeria. The Muslims, they're still in the same conquest mood. But once they're outnumbered, they're very cooperative. Now, this thing about talking about the occult.
Yes.
I find we're very naive, you know. I think it was yesterday or sometime this week, I heard that same occult advertisement on Win FM. It has been playing on ZIZ.
Mm-hmm.
Some Swami, you know who is Swami?
I know who the Swami is, but I read it, I saw it, I thought I would make a presentation on it because it's really, 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 that's something that we should invite to entertain.
I said to myself, when will black people learn? He could do all them things that he should be able to make money. You know? It is demonic, whether we like to believe it or not. We play around with everything.
But then you'll be accused of practicing religious intolerance.
I'm not stopping around doing their business. I'm just alerting our people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we run into everything. Even some Christian, you got to, the Bible said, try the spirits. The band of Christian is not Christian, you know. I hear this thing, when you go, you love it. Maybe you could go look for your old girlfriend, them.
You remember Lucy?
Bring them back.
Do you remember Lucy?
I don't wonder this one, the same one? He died.
No, the one who died.
Oh, yeah, man, he's walk up in the town.
Yes, I had a lot of people convinced. A lot of young socialites used to go to him and spend the money to him.
Well, this one he offered more services.
Yes.
He could tell you your future. I mean, I said to myself, my God. I mean, really?
Lucy came to me.
Where you got ignorant people, you know?
Lucy came to me and told me he could ensure that I win the Calypso Monarch for 5 years straight.
You tell him what you don't got.
I run him. Run him.
No, that's what I say. If you got all of this, you should be winning the jackpot.
I run him. He's bringing nonsense to me. He could work against any mat for me, so you could win the crown 5 years straight. I just want to stick with that.
You lie in your pocket on your garlic and so?
Not Socrates, not me.
I hear this big advertisement. I say, Lord, we have enough trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Enough. So all who they don't believe in a God, so they're going to the devil for help.
Yep.
I mean, this man. I said, what is this? When I was young, right, growing up in the village, they had some other people, and I got called a name because somebody said the descendants might get vexed.
Yep.
But my aunt said, this lady should get the biggest fish.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the boats come in,
mm-hmm.
they had to carry it to give her the biggest fish to catch her.
Okay.
And they had one, you remember Pedro?
Of course.
You said, I line up, and then there was a gentleman, I think his name was Francis, in
up the gut.
By the tamarind tree.
Up the gut.
Up, yes.
Yep.
To go into Saho.
And there was one on Baker's Corner, eh? There was one on Baker's Corner.
when full moon, man,
mm-hmm.
they line up all under the tamarind tree.
Yep.
Now go tell them to not me, you can't. So this man is offering the impossible. I said, what is this? That is fraud. And
those girls used to go down to Conway Bay to get the skin bathed with Lucy.
Yeah, but I'm telling you.
So we have it now. We have it now. I want to modernize, but in the form of religion, and it's all official because we're in the business.
Try all the spirit, try them.
They ain't gonna get
no
Socrates.
What name they come with, try them.
Mm-hmm. Not I, not me.
And then the trouble is, they give water in bottle and all kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eh? But maybe for them, since you don't want to help from God, the devil will help you.
Anyway, you start with CARICOM. And the ceremony yesterday, it was wonderful. I heard Ras Eli make his presentation, representing Rastafari. You know, it was a biblical text that we know, but he just let me read it quickly, right? Because your family.
I heard you.
Make a joyful noise unto Haile Selassie the First, all ye lands. He used to be the Lord. Serve Selassie the First with gladness, come before him with presence and singing. Know ye that Selassie the First is Jah. And he was well received, like all the other religions there. You know, it was a wonderful thing to, you see?
Yeah, but if you don't know better.
I understand that.
Carried away. Even Ethiopia, the Muslims spread as far as Ethiopia, you know. In fact, the
Of course.
Haile Selassie had to go and fight to return Christianity back to Ethiopia. Because the man who was the governor of Ethiopia, the capital.
Yes, Ethiopia.
Yeah, he had put up the Muslim flag. And Ethiopia is supposed to be a Christian nation. You know? So when I said, look at that now. You go to any of the Muslim country as a Christian, your life in danger. Your life in danger. So when we down here doing all the bowing down, you know? I said, look at that now. But this swarming, anyway, he calling you, eh?
He's not calling me. I saw the ad on my phone. I need to research a bit of it. I make a presentation during one of the programs, but they cannot catch me.
Offer you heaven.
I'm okay.
You get better job and this and that.
I'm okay. I don't need that.
Let me tell you, they're going, you know.
People going?
And when they're going to come, Socrates, you're going to give me a $20. And those people, they don't charge cheap, you know. But you see, when we turn away from God, we turn to idols and
get exploited.
Kind of things. I mean, we promote, you know, the young fellows will go.
You know what?
The young people will go to.
Oh yes. They poor. Mainly the poor. They feed them hope because they figure they're desperate and they can better their social situation, jobs, girlfriend, romance, etc., etc.
Can't get shot.
Invincible?
Remember, many of us down the Sunny Point, a woman has come. She was saying, nobody could miss nothing. I hear you win. You remember that one?
No.
And somebody had actually killed him.
Okay.
But she used to be boasting. Nobody could miss nothing because he done man if he had Haiti. But he had a ring.
Oh, he has a ring. I see.
Yeah, man. Hope you had a ring, you know.
No. The one I had, I can't find it. I don't know where it gone.
Thank you, Jesus.
The one I had, I can't find it. I don't know where it disappeared, but it's okay.
The devil take it back. But I mean,
the devil will give
all of you out there listening.
Yes.
You ain't want no Bible. You ain't want no God. You ain't want Selassie. And Selassie ain't God.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And these trying to entice some people. You want your $500 to carry it over there. Maybe doctor just won't get them done.
My 500, I don't get the $500. I don't get it.
They're going to be in the first in the lineup.
Yeah, well, they ain't going to catch me.
When the man said, bring the 500, you're going to see them. And tomorrow morning, they're begging you.
You remember back in the day, you used to go to the marketplace and get a part of a bull?
Which part? You mean the bull seed?
The bull pistol.
Oh.
Some of that need to be sharing these days.
I'm telling you.
I ran loose with the nonsense.
In 2024, you advertising that on your national station?
Yeah, well, they pay for it, eh? They pay for the space.
Hello. They pay for it? That ain't next.
They pay for the airspace. You in business?
Oh, Lord. I better go pray for the... Well, maybe all of them should go over there. Let the man charge them $1 million each. No killing.
Not so much for just enough from the salary, etc. Anyway.
Anyway, so I'm encouraging people, look, y'all, please leave Swarm alone.
Mm-hmm.
All of you would have shout food for demons' mind. Stop it.
You get to a romance.
Anyway, enjoy the weekend. Tomorrow make 9 years since my husband passed. So,
well, you've had a wonderful life and you count the blessings and the memories, so you have lots to cherish.
I just cuss him sometimes too, you know.
Yeah, it's all right.
Since you got here, see, I got Anyway, God is faithfully looking after me, and He's taking good care of me.
Stay blessed.
So thanks to all those who do me good favors and everything, you know?
Stay blessed.
I do appreciate you. Family, friends, and even people on the radio.
Okay.
Thank you for your kindness. That keeps me going. God bless you.
Stay blessed, darling. Take care. Right? We now going to pause for our station break. When we get back, we introduce our guest who's now in the studio. Okay.
Hey there, summer lovers. Ready to make your summer unforgettable?
Oh, yeah.
Get down to Horsford's building in Neva Center, something summer special, where the heat is on with a sizzling 25% off select items. Fire up the fun with top-notch barbecue grills, perfect for those backyard cookouts. Dive into savings on swimming goggles, coolers, and inflatable and mini pools. Keep your drinks icy and your days splashy. Relax in style with our comfy summer chairs or float away on our luxurious floating waterbeds. And don't miss out on our premium gas grills for the ultimate grilling experience. All this and so much more. Head to Horsford's building in Neva Center, Something Summer Specials today, and catch these hot deals before they're gone. Something Summer Specials, your one-stop shop for summer fun. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
It's 1:58, and we're having a wonderful bit of discourse in the studio today. I read that article, that post by the Honorable Doya Astafan. I would like to get commentary on that, if possible. There was this issue earlier on with Gregory speaking about family members, assistant persons who they know are involved in certain forms of criminality, etc. Blood is thicker than water. The time that you reach out for your family, it may be displaced loyalty. But I understand it because I too was a victim of that. Reaching out to help somebody who was in some serious problems. At the end of it, it backfired on me, but I made a conscious decision. So I understand sometimes when people reach out to help their family members. I understand that. I'm not condoning it. I say I understand it. Okay? We have with us in the studio at the moment Ras Judah Adaya. Ahado. Okay, you want to close the mic? And we want to continue a bit of a discussion we had a couple of weeks ago. So welcome back to the studios, and you can speak to your friends and your audience. What's going on with you?
Yeah, man, give thanks for having I again. Everything cool with I. Everything cool.
And you want to continue the topic today? What we discussed last time?
Well, what we really want to look at, basically.
Want to keep the mic closer to you so it's consistently?
Truly. Yeah, man, what we really want to look at, is a idea we have that we hope to begin, Now, this year we celebrate 132 years of Rastafari.
132?
Yeah,
wow.
Right.
What was the way of that? Yeah. Any planned ceremony? You have anything planned?
Well, this is what I'm going now. For this year, right? And hopefully for the future years. We're hoping to have a little program stretch out for the month of...
A month of activities?
Yes.
Commemorating the 134 years, you say?
Yes, commemorating Rastafari, So from this... from this week until the 22nd. We try to have at least one presentation made on a radio station pertaining to Rastafari. Because that is what we are dealing with, strictly Rastafari, Now, what I want to present this afternoon is about what is Rastafari. How we know Rastafari. Now, to some people, Rastafari is a black liberation movement, which is just natural.
I am happy that you're dealing with that, presenting the explanation, because a lot of folks are guessing what it is, and you're here to give clarity, so please.
Natural. So, yeah, so it is a black liberation movement in the first instinct. And because oppression, oppression is not just limited to African people, but every people in the world experience the same oppression. So hence Rastafari become the God force that is responsible for all nation of people, you know. So hence we look at Rastafari on a universal level, not just Rastafari to liberate African people, you know what I mean? Because we as African people must want to be liberated same way, because Rastafari was given to I and I, especially the slave, the ex-slave, the one who went through the slavery out in the Western Hemisphere. And it was given to I and I, seeing that we lost everything in the slavery. We lose the name, we lose the culture, the beat out, the language, everything we lose. You know what I mean? So Rastafari is that restoration, you know? And it's not just restoration just on a physical level, but also on a spiritual level. Because as you know, the religion, they start a lot of spiritual principles and practices, right? So Rastafari, you know, which is His Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, he's the one who come forward as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, according to the Bible. We say Christ shall return as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, not as the Lamb of God no more, you know, but as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah.
So the name Rastafari, it was the name of Rastafari Selassie, his actual name.
Yes. Tafari Makanen.
So was it born 134 years ago? Is that what was the origin?
Yes.
Okay, so it was established then.
Yes.
As a religion, as a following, or what?
Well, the following wasn't established until the coronation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Christ returned to earth, to flesh, happening 1892, right?
In the form of?
Haile Selassie born in, you know? That was in 132 years ago. Right?
32, sorry.
Yeah, so we actually celebrating the return of Christ, you know, and to mankind, you know, and this time, remember now, right? See, a lot of the time we think of Christ only in the priestly way, you know what I mean, the religious.
Because there are those who are looking forward for the returning of Christ. You say he actually returned in the form of the birth of Selassie 132 years ago.
Yes, the King of Kings, right? Which now a king come to deal with political matters. So you see, these two pillars really uphold the society, you know. You got the church and you got the state. You understand?
Church and state.
You understand? So Christ come and deal with the church aspect, which is the spiritual. His Majesty come and deal with the political as a king. So which means we got to be balanced, you know what I mean? You balance the spiritual with the physical. You understand? And His Majesty teach us how to balance the physical, the political aspect of the physical life. See? So Rastafari, you know, this life here come in as the salvation, because knowing, and we see, let me say something here. When we say Christ, right? Christ is necessarily a man, you know. A lot of the time we think, so well, Jesus is Christ, the only, you know what I mean, the only God, you know, the only child of God, and, you know, but really and truly, Christ is the things and what Jesus was teaching the people them. You see, the principles Christ was teaching to his followers, you know, and the crowd that follow him. That was the Christ, you know, the principles are the Christ.
Not a person.
Not the person. See, the person could become the Christ if they keep the principles. You understand? You have to deserve it, right?
Or the person can become Christ-like. You can't have many Christs based on what you're saying. There was
one liberty, right? So we call it a liberty, right? But I'm saying, no, same with Jesus. He lived to the liberty, because if you read in the Bible, it tells you, in the beginning was the Word. So in the beginning, Christ was in the beginning, not Jesus. See? Jesus born from Mary sometime later, right? And he lived to the principles and became the Christ among the brethren them, you know. But it's for all I and I to practice the same principle, because it is the way God wants man to live. You know what I mean? So Jesus is the one who really just come and model the behavior, you know, model it, make you see what it's all about, you know what I mean? But it's for I and I to come and do the same thing, not just sit down and say, well, okay, Jesus, and then we don't do nothing after that, you know? That's...
So in terms of the celebration or the observation, what forms of activities do you have planned to map the celebration?
Well, because it was just on short notice, right? For this month, we'll be only having basically, like I say, radio presentation and different aspect of the life of Rastafari. You know what I mean? So, for example, we're talking about the basic concept of Rastafari, what Rastafari is all about, you know what I mean? And, yeah, so we can, discuss around that and get a clearance towards that. And next week, you'll have somebody discussing on a different aspect of Rastafari, you know what I mean? Culture and liberty, you know? You have women and all of these things to bring forward their position, you know, as how a Rasta woman, you know what I mean, the role and responsibilities of the Rastafari woman, you know what I mean, within the Rastafari culture. So, and it's just a effort, an attempt to really like educate and educate.
Do we have similar discussions going on in Antigua and the other islands in the region?
If they have similar discussion?
Like you're here talking about the 32 years since.
Well, all over the world, this thing is observed, right?
But you're bringing awareness to the people saying because in Nevis.
Yeah.
About
But having a month of Rastafari, right? Yeah, this is like our first time we are dealing with it, you know what I mean?
That's where you actually, if is there a movement across the region where you have you guys here on Sink is doing your part, another chapter in Antigua doing their part, etc., etc.
No, I don't think it's on the level as yet. You know what I mean? But it's just the inspiration of His Majesty that we have to just start these programs as to educate our people of what Rastafari is, because we really perishing, you know what I mean? We really going way off. You see the politics who we follow, we ain't taking stock, you understand? And it leading us nowhere. You understand?
I respect the Rastafari movement for the spirituality, the awareness of self, the awareness of what you should eat to have a better, healthy life in terms of meats and something you should avoid. They brought that awareness. Well, I was aware of it back in the mid-70s when I returned to St. Kitts. I know there was a lot of opposition to them, to their presidents, fight down, so to speak. I know in some of the sister islands, Dominique was one, the movement was frowned upon. If you were a Rasta and you went to Tortola, they would not allow you there. If you represented Lux, you would not be allowed in the country. Those who lived there, they were tolerated. Here on St. Kitts, I know they were not really tolerated.
Yes,
they were picked up on 4th Street and were not allowed to assemble on 4th Street. They were taken to the prison. Their locks were cut off. There were a lot of resistance. But they brought, and the way they dressed, their lifestyle was not that attractive to young people, appealing in the sense of we wore the European attire, the shirt and the pants and the socks and the shoes and the hair in a certain way. And the Rastafarian represented a radical change from that, away from the commercialized, away from the way we look at things, the material love of things. You preach something different to that. Rather than live a material life, live a more spiritual life. You eat certain things that food that fed the body, kept it healthy, etc. You certain herbs that were familiar with our people as Africans, that we moved away from, you brought it back. Look at the calabash. A lot of folks don't know what a calabash is. It was a utensil that came from a tree. Well, we made it a utensil, and it was part of the culture.
Truly.
But a lot of homes had what you call China ware. We bought all this stuff, and it was a symbol of wealth or status. So to go back to have your calabash and your this and that, as you call it, a bash, a coconut and a yaba, or they didn't like that. But it spoke to a fundamental spirituality.
And our African
that better
self,
serve the people.
And our African self, because the culture, the calabash, the yaba pot, all of this is African culture.
Of course.
So you see, Rastafari is really the restoration of.
But then we receive a Eurocentric education that told us to move away from that.
And
anything African.
And a Eurocentric idea of what development should be.
Yep.
You understand? So Rastafari is the correction of all of that.
And you also big on family.
Yeah.
The family units, the family union.
You know?
Which is also fundamentally African.
Rastafari.
So there are certain identities that spoke to our people as we are to live. But because of the education we received, the Eurocentric education, we moved away from that and we scorned. But you have been consistent in the way you present yourself, your spirituality, your culture, your support of most things, well, I would say, Africans, and I have to respect you for that.
Rastafari. You see, we have to learn spirituality. We have to understand our spirituality. It's not religion. It's something simple. See, because it's what we as African people go up and, you know. Now we see when we say His Majesty is God, Emperor Selassie is God, they said, nah, he can't be God, he's a man. And all this man and he talk about the Orthodox Church, right? Now we got two Orthodox. We got the Coptic Orthodox and we got the Ethiopian Tewahedo. Right? Now we see the word Tewahedo. It means one unity, right? It's showing you that how
it was a Coptic Orthodox.
Coptic Orthodox. But you see the Ethiopian Orthodox, right? And I guess the Coptic may be the same with it, same way, right? But the Tewahedo is showing you that Christ, while he was divine, he was also 100% human. See? So it is in the same way, I look on His Majesty as human and 100% divine, which is the concept of what the God is, right? To be divine, you have to keep the principles of Christ. That is what going to build up that spiritual energy within the individual. See? Because if you live a kind of donkey life, you're going to lose the energy.
All right.
See?
6620989, the lines are open. Let's get your opinion on this or any other topic that you want to, get into. You can give us a call and let's have a little chit chat. For in the meantime,
Rastafari.
So go ahead.
Yeah, man. So Rastafari, we come to restore like the understanding of what it is to live spiritually. You understand? It's not looking outside yourself to go worship somebody. That is idolatry. You understand? So when we say Haile Selassie, it's not just the flesh and blood, you know what I mean? And even if you worship the flesh and blood, because the Bible tell you.
Okay, let's take this call, see if it feeds into our conversation. But the caller, 11 voices. But the caller, yes, sir, 11 voices.
Yes, I'm calling to say something. Now, the gentleman there is misleading people. And he's blaspheming Jesus Christ. Now, Selassie cannot be God. Selassie was just a mere man. Selassie himself said, and I have the interview with Selassie himself saying that he told the people, in referring to the Jamaicans, Rastas, that he is not God. Selassie himself said that. So if he is God, then he was lying and God can't lie. And not only that, but Selassie said he is a sinner who is in need of Jesus Christ. And Selassie used to finance Billy Graham crusades them because he regarded people like Billy Graham and so on as brothers and sisters. As brothers.
You say you have a document of that speech?
Eh? Yeah, I have. Well, you're talking about when Selassie said he's not God?
No, you said that he says he's not God. The gentleman is saying that this is God. So I didn't say that. But you say you have a document that speaks to that?
No, I have an interview with Selassie when he said in the interview to the person who was asking him, he said to the interviewer that he is not God, and he told, well, in referring to the Jamaicans, he said he told them that he is not God. I have the interview. And so therefore, he can't be God because God can't lie. And if he says he is not God and he is God, then that's a contradiction, that's a lie, and God cannot lie. So, but not only that, but when you go to the Bible as well, Jesus Christ was born of a virgin 2,000 years ago. Selassie was not born of a virgin. Jesus Christ let you know that he died to save sinners. Rastas them say Selassie can't die. But Jesus said he was going to die as a ransom for many. The good shepherd shall give his life for the sheep to save them. So Jesus died, but the rest of them say Selassie can't die, which is not true. Selassie was killed. He was murdered by the communists.
Gregory,
Mm-hmm.
could I ask you a question?
Yes.
Where in the Bible Jesus say worship him?
Where in the Bible said Jesus worshiping?
Jesus said,
No, he didn't say
Jesus
anywhere
said,
in the Bible. He did not say anywhere in the Bible to worship him. He did not say like that. But when he got worship from the disciples, like when he came this time and he walked into the boat, when he was on the sea walking.
so were you worshiping him? Were you worshiping him? He didn't say worship him. He said, hold on there. He said, if you do the things that I tell you, right, you're going to do greater things than I, right? But if you hear things that I tell you and don't do them, you're like a man who build the house on the sand. See? So you see the do them, he talking about the principles where he also was living by. You understand? Them principles is what you call Christ. And it's an ancient liberty from the beginning of time. You understand?
Mm-hmm. But you talk about worshiping Jesus Christ, and as I was about to tell, when he was walking on the sea, and he calmed the storm,
he said you're going to be greater.
He walked into the boat. The disciples then began to worship him, and he didn't stop them. And he did not stop them from worshiping him. And not only that, he told Satan, worship God only. Yet Jesus Christ did not refuse the worship of the disciples when he stepped into the boat. So therefore, he is God. He was both man and God. Yes, that is true. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church is correct with that he was both man and God. But what the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is wrong about is that he just had one nature. No, he had two natures. But yes, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is correct that he was both man and God.
Remember the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is
God.
Gregory, remember the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is the ancient church, you know. Not Rome, Ethiopia. You understand?
Christianity started in Jerusalem. Christianity started in what we call Israel today. But what I'm saying is that not only that, but not only that. When Jesus Christ predicted his second coming, he told us what to look at, because he said, many shall come in his name and fool many. But he told us when he come, what things are going to be like. And he let us know, for example, in 1 Corinthians 15, that when he come, the dead in the grave, they are going to be raised alive.
But which one the grave he talking about? And which one the dead? Which one the dead he talking about and which one the grave?
The dead all over the world, because in Revelation he said, all the dead all over is going to be raised before his throne, his judgment throne.
Yeah, but you know, back in the ancient time, your body was considered the tomb. Your soul was born.
I don't know, but
listen. When you born,
the Bible was written by Jews, ancient Jews, and for the Jews, the grave was what they were buried in.
Well, watch here. You see, once you don't wake up, right, then you're going to go in the grave, right? See ya. To resurrect, your spirit gotta wake up in you, you know. Remember, your body got its own intelligence, right?
Okay, Gregory. I do have to take a session break.
Before I go, I want to say that 1 Corinthians teaches that when Christ comes back, all of the physical bodies in the grave shall raise to imperishable body. Okay. So the physical dead are going to raise in imperishable bodies, the body that went into the grave. That didn't happen when Selassie was born.
I've got to go, but the point you call to counter is that Haile Selassie is not God. That's your point, right?
Definitely not.
Okay.
And he himself said it.
Okay. We got to go downtown to pay some due to Caesar. I'll be back. But thanks for your contribution. It's good. Just in the debate.
Thanks.
your Horseman's Value Mart IGA special.
Running July 25th to August 7th.
Now our Value Club Blue Tank specials. Nutella hazelnut spread, just $13.99. Essential everyday chicken and beef broth, $8.99. Almond breeze, almond milk, $16.99. Essential everyday fries and hash brown patties, $15.79. Essential everyday frozen fruit, just $16.99. Essential everyday napkins, just $12.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Essential everyday ketchup, $4.99. Essential everyday mayonnaise, $19.99. Kool-Aid jammers, $13.99. Pedigree canned dog food, $10.49. The Colgate toothpaste, $7.99. Dial soap, $11.99. Shop smart, shop value mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Hortford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Hortford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
With about 7 minutes to go, we are winding down on today's second half of presentation of voices. And we just had Jeffrey on the line, and he was contending, well, countering the points you were making about Rastafari. You were speaking about the origins of Christianity going back way before in Ethiopia. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, it was from since the 1st century, because if you read in the Bible, right?
Mindful of the microphone.
Yeah, if you read in the Bible, all right? Give thanks. If you read in the Bible, somewhere I think in Acts, where the eunuch from Ethiopia, Queen Candace, went to Jerusalem to worship, right? This is what the Bible is showing you. And Philip, one of the apostles of Jesus, right? Saw him on a chariot reading from Isaiah, and went and explained to him what he was reading, that Jesus would have crucified, he was the Christ and all of these things, you know what I mean? And he baptized the eunuch, the Ethiopian eunuch, right? And the eunuch returned back to Ethiopia, right? Carrying this
The message.
Yeah, and this was in the 1st century.
Mhm.
You understand? The Nicene Council come out in the 4th century, right? And that is the Christianity we are on the place. See? But the whole concept of God was from creation. It's supposed to be your nature. It's supposed to be natural in man. That is why the Bible says he only got one son, which means who call himself the son of God must got the same nature. It's one nature, one righteousness, right? And that's the righteousness of the Father. You see? Not the righteousness of Rome. You understand? And that is what the Christianity is religion, you know what I mean? And everybody got a right to practice their religion, see? So, but in reality, the whole Christ concept is principles following. See? And it's the practice, the spiritual way of life. Wherever you go, you have, all the religion, them, look at it, right? Love is the center of all the religion, right? And you show love by keeping certain principles. Remember, God is love, right? The whole thing is about love. God love, remember, God wants people come together, right? Religion dividing you. See? It's love bring people together. See? Because if you hate one another, you're not going to come together. But if you love one another, you're going to come together. You understand? So love bring people together, and its principles will make that love come about.
So you recognize the Godhead, the Creator.
Yeah, that tell is His Majesty, because the Bible tell you that God make you in His likeness and His image. He tell you your body is His temple, right? And He dwell in you. Christ tell you the kingdom of God is in you. Right? It's not nothing about outside of you. You have to be restored, right? To the knowledge of yourself and understand yourself that if I keep these principles, then things you didn't imagine you could do, you end up doing. But you have to keep the principles.
Okay.
That's the far.
I like people who are firm in the faith, and I respect Jeffrey for this stand he take is what he believe. So there's a Godhead, the Creator. The Christians accept Christ as the Messiah. You identify with Emperor Selassie
yes.
as your messenger.
No, the Almighty, I say he's the Almighty. Come here, say, right? My thing is this, right? Bring forth your witness. If you say all of these other people is God, no, I tell you His Majesty is God, now you could go for cassette, or you could go for video, or you could go for book and show you His Majesty, right? Show you, right? So this is not no fiction and a make up, nothing. You tell me Jesus, you tell me this, you tell me that. Bring them. Let me see.
I see your point.
If they exist.
I see your point.
Just figment of your imagination.
Of time, because based on what you said, it's been just about 132 years.
Yes.
Okay, since the birth of Selassie. So that's modern time, as if you were to compare it to the time that Jesus walked the earth.
But Christ is forever, right? Christ is forever. Remember.
We're talking about the physical manifestation.
Good.
So if you look at the time that Christ would have walked the earth, it'll be hard to find any kind of video cassette or videotape of him. So when you're asking for the villain to bring the evidence of Christ in that same format or similar to what you have.
But let me ask you something. See, you want to tell me they don't have no kind of documentary or nothing from them times, eh? They have documentary, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that there wasn't somebody called Jesus or Yahshua or whatever who teach the people them these principles. There was a teacher. You understand? But he didn't tell them worship me is God. He tell them they must live by them there, because there is God. Okay. There is God to not no one. You know what I mean? So this is a message where the people ain't got to understand, right?
I'm looking at my watch. It's got to be wrong because what you're saying that we are actually all the time. 28. Wow.
Yeah, so just Rastafari, you know, just give thanks for the time still, you know.
Let's see if we can read what Eli X read yesterday. And it says, Rastafari, please stand, a war. Almighty King Rastafari, see and know the 50th anniversary of CARICOM chatbot. Question. If without a shadow of a doubt, the truth is what the below message send. The garment, it says the garment of the 50th art, very golden, then, now it flows, right? Where it even more as a body of the acronym and its spelled out CARICOM. Thanksgiving art in order as mouth open. Firstly, to the good Creator of the earth, the seas and the heaven, followed by thanks to the thoughtfulness, men and the pen, also thanks to the regional brethren and friend who embraced the idea of CARICOM and made it happen. Ever-living Father, I and I know that your name said daily provides blessings, so I will say your name abundantly in St. Kitts and Nevis across the CARICOM before and after I and I eat and drink, when I and I wake up, and in the morning before I and I retire to sleep. Please direct I and I path, and I heart, and I will hear, and I and all your people may serve you and be blessed with wealth. It is wonderfully done. Wonderfully done.
Yeah,
right?
You know.
I was hoping he could call in today, but perhaps next time. His delivery was great. Right? So we've come a long way from when Rastafari was not recognized, scorned and shunned. But our embrace in that forum, we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of CARICOM, but they observe all the various religions throughout the region, and that's amongst them. That was the point.
And what I'm saying, and all the religion recognize and respect Rastafari because they had Rastafari to be nobody.
Okay.
See, one last thing more answer before.
We got to be quick because we done.
So you see that Rastafari is a real thing, right? Because we come from nobody to being accepted.
Recognized and
among
accepted.
everybody, right?
Okay.
So we give thanks for that. And one last thing, we just want to look out next week and the week them after that, because at least
One
one
presentation.
presentation, you can get a Rastafari.
Okay. I
Give
want to
thanks.
thank all our viewers and listeners who were patient with us today, those who made the contribution by phone, text, or call. Thank you so very much. God's willing, we shall meet again on Monday morning. Have a very safe, wonderful weekend. Most of all, be good to others, be good to yourself, and the thing will work. Right.
Attention, savvy shoppers. It's